One of the very strong themes that came through this public meeting in Pershore, which I think could be very reasonably described as heated, was about the visibility and accessibility of West Mercia Police. So, as Commissioner, I know there are 2,500 police officers, and I know we cover 3 beautiful counties. I also know the huge pressures that are placed on in calls for service and demands placed on the police. But the public quite rightly expect visibility and accessibility of their local service, their local police service. How do you, as Commander for South Worcestershire, balance that need for visibility and accessibility versus all of the other demands that are placed on you in the policing system?
Yeah, so I mentioned previously around my commitment to ensuring that the safe and neighbourhood officers within Pershore are in post. We had originally 1 safe neighbourhood officer, and I've decided to increase that to 2. And that's in response to the community raising concerns with me, and also, supported by the statistics around where I believe our resources should be placed. They're supported by 4 PCSOs, and I'm pleased to say that we're now in a position where we have a good staffing level now, but with 2 very, very committed safe and neighbourhood officers who are absolutely now out in the community and known within the community. The wider policing of South Worcestershire encompasses Worcester City, Droitwich, Malvern, Evesham, Pershore. So geographically, it's a significant area. That said, again, I'm absolutely aware of the rural elements of our community and how people may feel vulnerable at times within those particular rural locations. So my commitment is around ensuring a 24/7 policing response and footprint is in place, and Evesham is a 24/7 policing base. Within my staffing setup, I have a sergeant at all times, and supported by police constables who are the 24/7 emergency response teams that you see every single day in the community, and part of their patrolling strategy is to ensure that Pershore is patrolled and has good visibility. The neighbourhood crime fighting team that I previously mentioned will provide that heightened visibility to tackle emerging trends and crimes within the area. And of course, don't forget the proactive element that I have in terms of my probably unseen, because they're predominantly plainclothes detectives who also operate. And as you said, we may not see their activity, but certainly it's far-reaching and reduces significant crime and demands on the local area.
So policing, and I use having doorstep delivered milk as an example. I know that the milk deliverer has been down my road because there is milk on the doorstep.
Yeah.
I could at home have 20 police officers outside of my house, and I wouldn't know, would I, when I got there a little later? How do you manage that challenge of being visible in a community who might be behind their front door, or they might be at work, or how do you ensure that the public do know and can get confidence in that actually the public are out there in the community?
So firstly, 83% of the community within South Worcestershire have confidence in our policing ability, and I think that is a measure we should be really proud of when you look at comparators with other forces. Secondly, 19% I think of the community have said that they've seen a police officer or PCSO in the last week. That for me again is when you give the large geographical area that we police, I think that's a positive statistic. But we could do more, and we could do more around the communication aspect, and ensuring that people understand that we have been within the local vicinity, whether that's attending local surgeries and meetings, publicising where we will be, spreading the word through neighbourhood matters and other communication tools, and utilising members of the community as well to ensure that the message is spread far and wide, because I'm absolutely aware that there has been it's a really popular Facebook page within Pershore that has the opportunity to reach a number of residents, and I'm really keen for the administrators and those that have access to that page to work with us and to share the positive news stories so that we have a far wider reach.
You mentioned earlier Neighbourhood Matters, and a great opportunity to register and to receive and engage in the process we talked about previously. But Neighbourhood Matters also has the ability to see who your Safe and Neighbourhood teams are, both their names, their pictures, their email addresses, and also their mobile numbers. So also incumbent not only, I think, on the police to be visible, but also for us as the citizenry to be proactive if we need somebody to contact, i.e. waiting, rather than waiting to come across, as it were. And not a route for reporting crime, not a route in an emergency, absolutely, but gathering that intel, understanding where there are concerns, bread and butter of what your teams, I would hope, would want to have in terms of that direct access. And if members of the public on Neighbourhood Matters website, if they Google or search the Neighbourhood Matters name, in the middle of the page, you pop your postcode in and your local Safe Neighbourhood team come up, including the supervision, the sergeant and the inspector. And we'd encourage those that do want to contact with their police in that non-emergency sense would be a great route to take.
Yeah, and I think the message there, absolutely, just to reinforce, it isn't an emergency contact. So if somebody is experiencing a demand for the police in a 999 emergency, they still must utilise that facility. But we also have methodology around our 101 reporting, so non-emergency reporting. I mentioned single online home. So again, an email access for people wishing that, and again, is more suitable for reporting that way. But I absolutely encourage people to directly speak with and communicate with my Safer Neighbourhood officers. It just could be that piece of information that's being shared is the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle for them to then enable them to move forward and obtain a court warrant or a civil order or an injunction against somebody.